living our values.
Intentions
Really starts with being in alignment.
are deeply influenced by our values.
The concept may be simple.
Activation,
Do the thing that we say we value.
whether we are conscious of them or not,
Integrating them into our daily lives.
we are always living from values
It's like it isn't always that easy.
every second of every day. Hi there, I'm Reverend Ryan, and we are Soul Evolution Collaborative, a nonprofit based in universal spiritual principles, offering possibilities for navigating the evolution of life in an authentic and intentional way. And this is Truth Be Told, our weekly series that is changing the norms, bringing you inspiring and uplifting messages to maybe look at life a little differently. So this week, we are exploring the steps we take in the process of unlocking our values. Now, this process involves aligning our thoughts, actions, and intentions. It is the pursuit of living in harmony with our authentic selves and activating that expression in our individual and communal experience. So, through reflection and introspection, we gain this awareness of our values, our passion, our purpose. And this really aligns us with our lives, with those core aspects of our being. And so, with clear intentions, we can set a course for personal growth and really activate these values in our lives. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about aligning, we're going to talk about intentions, and we're going to talk about activating, because that's the juicy piece, right? When we take all of that stuff and really activate it in our everyday lives in a way that we can see not only individually, but we can see collectively and really begin to make positive movements and shifts in our own lives and the world around us. So that's what we got going on. So sit back and relax and enjoy this episode of Truth Be Told 2.0.
Last week, we explored the importance of discovering our values, those guiding principles that shape our lives. And today, we're going to take the next step and delve into living our values, which really starts with being in alignment with our values. Living our values means integrating them into our daily lives and making choices that really reflect what truly matter to us. It's all about walking the walk and embodying the principles that we really hold dear. So living in alignment with our values simply means that our actions are in harmony with what we believe. So an example of this might be if one of our core values is compassion, that we actively seek opportunities to show kindness and empathy to others. It becomes kind of this natural extension of who we are. Being in alignment with our values brings a sense of congruency and authenticity to our lives. When our thoughts, words, and actions align with our values, we experience this deep sense of fulfillment and joy, even a sense of peace, right? Now, the concept may be simple. We do the thing that we say we value, but for some reason, that seems like it isn't always that easy to actually do. You see, there is this intrinsic connection between our values and the choices we make. But sometimes it can seem like the choices are actually beyond our decision making in order to live in alignment with our values. So let's say sustainability is one of our values. We make conscious choices that align with that value. Things like reducing carbon footprint, things like recycling, supporting environmentally friendly practices. But at the same time, you were born into a world that practically requires you to own a car that you drive often, or maybe you live in a major city where groceries have to be trucked in from far off, and a myriad of other things that can kind of complicate the process. And so it's not always just making a choice and making a decision to live in alignment with our values, right? Being in alignment with our values might not always be a simple or easy choice. It is definitely an ongoing practice, and it requires self-reflection, conscious choices, and sometimes stepping outside of our comfort zones. But the rewards are immeasurable. When we live in alignment with our values, we feel this deep sense of purpose and fulfillment. We develop a greater sense of compassion and our impact on the world and those around us, right? When we have this desire and this willingness to align ourselves with our values, not only do we make our own lives better, but we actually get to make the world around us a better place to live in. While you're here, remember to hit like, subscribe, maybe even drop a comment. We would love to hear from you, and thanks for watching.
So let's talk about intentions and activation. So first, let's talk about intentions. Intentions are deeply influenced by our values. They are the seeds for which our thoughts and our words and our actions grow. Our values are our guide, shaping our intentions by aligning them with those aspects of life that we find most meaningful. And this is why it's super important to understand what our values are. And honestly, whether we are conscious of them or not, we are always living from values every second of every day. So the trick is understanding, are the values I'm living from actually the things deep down inside I consider the most important? And when our intentions are in harmony with our core values, they become these powerful catalysts for creating positive change and our own expressions of authenticity, from living from a space of intentionality and not just by default. To live out these intentions, we must first have clarity around our values and deeply understand what truly matters to us. And so with this clarity, we can set conscious intentions that reflect these values and guide our choices and our actions. So by cultivating mindful attention and regularly checking in with our intentions, we ensure they remain in alignment with our values. If there needs to be a shift, then we are able to do so in a way that continues to support our values. And curiosity really creates the space for this sort of transformation and evolution. And remember, our values aren't static, but they move and shift as we learn more about ourselves and the ways we want to show up in the world, or the experiences that we want to embody and create. By living with intention, we infuse purpose and meaning in our lives, creating this powerful and transformative impact on ourselves and those around us. Through conscious awareness and consistent practice, we can set intentions that impact our individual and our collective experience. Understanding that the impact of our values is not experienced in a vacuum, just like we don't create in a vacuum. We don't experience impact in a vacuum. But instead, this impact flows over into all aspects of our lives, our interactions, and our relationships. Okay, so that's a wonderful segue into this idea of activation. Now, activation is the outpicturing of our inner work as it translates into our inner growth and self-discovery into actual, tangible activity in the world. So by living from our values and intentions, we bridge this gap between talking about it and actually doing it. These actions are the steps we take in support of living our most authentic lives that are rooted and grounded and live from a space of conscious intention for the outside to reflect the inside. And so it's through this intentional action that we grow and we evolve and expand our capacity to live a life rooted in our values, aligning ourselves with our highest aspirations and realizing our fullest expression of self. And once again, this expression is not static, but instead it's fluid and changing and moving. So activation brings our values to life, like in 3D form, creating space for them to come alive and create experiences that are in alignment with our most authentic selves. And this alignment benefits us and everyone, not only individually, but collectively. And I think that we can all agree what our world needs now more than ever is folks living in alignment with the truth of their core values and their most authentic selves.